Have you added Jesus to your life? Is that what we need to do? Just add Jesus to our life. Got a quote today that's going to challenge that with some scripture for us to consider and some very practical action steps for you to take at the end. Please don't miss those. Let's jump into our quote. Here's what John MacArthur has to say. The Christian life is not adding Jesus to one's own way of life, but renouncing that personal way of life for his, and being willing to pay whatever cost that may require. John MacArthur. So there's definitely a level of commitment here that MacArthur is referring to. It's not just simply adding Jesus to our life, but forsaking our way of life and going all in with him. I have a sister who is a missionary in Japan, been there for years. And interesting thing she said one day, many of the Japanese people have no problem accepting Jesus and adding him to their, the little idol tray in their home. They'll just add Jesus alongside of Buddha and alongside Confucius and all these others. There's not a problem accepting Jesus. The problem is refusing everything else and accepting Jesus alone. And I think that's true not just in the Japanese culture, but I think even in our culture, many of us have bought into this idea that we just invite Jesus into our heart, add him to our life, and that's going to top us off, man. That's going to get us really fulfilled and really complete. But that's really not what Jesus is asking us for. He's asking us to totally abandon our way of life, the way we see things, the way we view things, and submitting and yielding ourselves fully to him. So I agree with MacArthur on this quote. Don't agree with MacArthur on everything, but I do agree with this quote. Here's a few scriptures that reference what Jesus has to say. So likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he hath, he cannot be my disciple. Luke 14. Matthew 16, verse 24. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. So these are familiar scriptures, and I've used these both in recent days in these little devos on the go that I've done. But I think it's just worth continuing to think about the call of Jesus to abandon all, to be willing to deny ourselves, take up our cross, and follow him. We don't need to fool ourselves in any way of thinking that Jesus is okay with us just adding him to our life. No, he wants to be Lord. He wants to truly be Lord and Master of my life. He wants me to submit and yield myself fully to him. So I'm encouraging you to go for that. What does that look like? I think the best scripture that summarizes this, for me at least, is Galatians 2:20, one of my all-time favorites, kind of a life verse, if you will. Paul says, I am crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live. Yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. So I love what Paul's communicating here. I'm dead, man. I'm crucified with Christ. However, I am still alive. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but Christ lives in me. I have willingly laid down my life. I am now submitted and yielding to Christ. Now, let's just be honest. Am I doing that perfectly? No, I'm not. And I don't know anybody that is. But that's my goal. I want to every day be better at submitting and yielding myself fully to God. Realizing, again, my standing with God has nothing to do with how well I perform, but because of all that God has done for me as a free gift, I want to perform. I want to become everything that he says that I can be. So I want to live my life as Paul says, I am crucified with Christ. I'm alive, but this life that I'm now living It's Jesus living in and through me as I yield and submit to His direction, His leadership in my life. That's the goal. That's what I'm after. That's what I'm striving for every day of my life, and I hope you are as well. So just an encouragement for you today to refocus on this. If you're new, first time here, my name is Mitch. I'm with Restored Coaching, where we believe that practical discipleship without finger pointing is the key. It is the secret to true transformational growth that lasts. So I do every weekday devotion. If it's something like this, each weekday, Devo on the go, short, quick, to the point. Also drop a teaching each Tuesday to help equip and prepare you to live this abundant life that is possible. So if that's interesting to you, click that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, stick around to see what we put out each day and each week. Always end with something to take action with, action steps. So here we go for today. Reflect on Galatians 2:20. Identify one area of your life where you have been hesitant to fully surrender, fully submit to God. Just one. Pray about this area and ask God to help you surrender it fully to Him. So I'm big on action, man. I'm big on taking steps, but they can be small steps. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So forget about the huge mountain in front of you. Just take a simple step in the right direction. Is there anything in your life where you know you've not fully submitted and surrendered? Talk to God about it, pray about it, and take a step towards that full surrender in that area. That's what I want you to do today. So thank y'all for tuning in. Each day I said we do this. So if you missed yesterday, here is your card. Previous video takes you back to our last video. Playlist gives you a full compilation. Thank you guys for joining in today. We'll see you back next time for something else to think on. Take care. Bye-bye.